Greetings. Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected. What's going on, guys? The early chatters are in. And welcome. Sorry for my lateness. Technical things. I have to go through many steps to be able to try and simulcast on Rockfin and YouTube. So, you know, sometimes that the extra many steps just takes a while to get going. And if you are on Rockfin, if you're trying to watch me on Rockfin, we got one viewer on Rockfin. You can watch me on Rockfin. I'm waiting for the Rockfin machine to crank up, and I will let you know when the Rockfin has started. Is it crackling? Oh, jeez. I don't know. If everything worked correctly, all of this would only take me 5 minutes to do. But nothing ever works correctly, so it often takes me much longer. And of course, it always works incorrectly. The later I am, the more everything screws up. So if I was properly 10 minutes early for the show, I'd be ready. I'd be sitting here 5 minutes before, ready to go. Anyways, whatever. Blobbity bloops. Let's see. Are we going to go? Are we getting a something? Can I go live? Something went wrong. Jesus Christ. And then Rockfin is just not very easy to get going on the stream. Apologies to Rockfin. Don't mean to besmirch you, but it's just not easy to get this going. Hold on one second. Let's see if I can restart the Rockfin stream. Give me a second, guys. Why? Why is this so dang difficult? It's frustrating. Hey, Poppy Davis. All right, we got some viewers on Rockfin. Let's see if we can actually make the stream work. I'm going to try again. Sorry. I don't know what's going on. Here we go. Maybe. No, we're not doing premium. No, we're not. We got the stream. The stream is on. What's up, Urban Hermit? We got some people on Rockfin. What's going on, guys? Levi James says, long live anarchism. Irk1 says, we want prompt and uncensored doom. Well, you know, YouTube is going to make sure that that's not happening. This is just so very... I can't really tell what's going on here. Hey, Poppy, can you tell me if you see anything on Rockfin? I'm watching you. I'm watching the chat on YouTube. Sorry, guys. We'll get into it in a second. Just give me a moment. Rockfin just seems to be... Can't see comments here on my desk. Makes me more difficult. Is this a thing? Anybody know? Well, can you see the stream is what I'm asking. Can you actually see the Rockfin stream? There's going to be 2 days in a row, nothing on Rockfin. 2 days in a row that I can't really do Rockfin because of whatever technical glitches they seem to have going on. I'm not really sure what's up. Well, I don't have time to deal with this. Rockfin, I love you, but please get it together. Please. On the live stream, because I'm trying to do live streams on your channel. But I'll make an attempt again tomorrow. All right, what's going on, guys? Now we're incredibly, insanely late. Brent McKinney just builds excitement for Doom. Okay. Oh, hey, what's up? Now we have something on Rockfin. What's going on? Okay, hold on, guys. Hold on. Okay. Rockfin is on. Sorry. Maybe it's my fault, my lack of patience, or maybe my lack of... No, we are free people. We are free people. Okay, guys. We are live on Rockfin. As far as I can tell. I can see the video is going. Looks like everything's going. If you want to watch me on Rockfin, I'm over here. Love to see some of your chats and comments on Rockfin. Yeah, it looks like it's going now, Urban Hermit. So... Anyways, let's see. Let's get into some climate change things. This is from The Guardian. From November 19th, but they're speaking of IOTA. Again, not a lot of news coverage on either ADA or IOTA. I mean, I know that there is some news coverage, so please, guys, don't go overboard. But not a lot of news coverage as far as people kind of pointing, trying to put some attention on the extreme weather that's happening around the planet. It's just kind of like cursory, like, oh yeah, there's another hurricane. Oh, there's another hurricane. Oh, that's pretty wild. Oh, we have a record amount of hurricanes. Anyways, as someone was saying the other day, like, why isn't the focus on the Arctic ice melt or non-refreezing or temperature anomalies? Like, why isn't that an everyday news story? Why isn't that leading? Not only is there no mention of it on mainstream TV news, very little mention of it, if anything at all, but they just go, oh, it's all very troubling, and they just move right along. Anyways, this was worse than ETA. Hurricane Iota brings repeat destruction to Honduras. Second devastating hurricane in 2 weeks lashes fragile nation and leaves villages submerged. The unprecedented double blow comes on top of the COVID-19 pandemic. About 2.9 million people in Honduras were affected by ETA, according to the country's emergency response unit, including many like Benitez, whose homes were flooded to the rooftops. That number is expected to increase substantially following Iota, which made landfall on the north coast of Nicaragua on Monday as a Category 4 hurricane before pushing through Honduras the following day as a tropical storm with torrential rain and heavy winds. This time was worse than ETA, says 54-year-old Norma Amador. Along with Benitez and many other residents of San Pedro Sula's La Lima suburb, she had gathered along the highway that cuts through the city with nowhere else to go. The water got higher and had more strength. At least 90% of La Lima, home to 40,000 people, was underwater. On Wednesday, thousands were still recovering from being trapped on their rooftops by ETA, causing nearby levees to fail and flooding neighborhoods so fast that there was no time to escape. Many had waited for days to be rescued. Others died or disappeared in the rushing floodwaters, according to official tolls. Fewer than 100 people have died as a result of the hurricanes. But the water from Eta was yet to fully recede in many areas when Iota hit, and hundreds are still reported as missing. The government has been too overwhelmed to make an accurate count. Getting ahead in Honduras will probably be much harder for years to come. The pandemic had already plunged the economy deep into recession. Preliminary estimates of the economic loss from Eta range from 10 to 20% of GDP, or roughly $2.5 to $5 billion. An Iota impact could double those numbers. Guatemala, which was affected to a much lesser extent by the hurricanes, has already requested TPS for its citizens in the U.S. Honduras is expected to make a similar request for those not covered. TPS is temporary protected status. All right. Climate change making life interesting, as in terrible, for people who are the most vulnerable. Let's move on. We have 62 watching, 26 likes. Please like up the video, guys. This tweeted out by Go Green. Next pandemic is awakening as Arctic warms 4 times faster than the rest of the globe. Deep frozen Arctic microbes are waking up. Permafrost thaw in Siberia led to a 2018 anthrax outbreak and death of 200,000 reindeer and a child. Actually, I wonder if that's a different story. Anyways, let's get into this from Scientific American. From November 2020, deep frozen Arctic microbes are waking up. We have talked about this previously. We'll talk about it again. Thawing permafrost is releasing microorganisms with consequences that are still largely unknown. In August 2019, Iceland held a funeral for Ökjökull Glacier, the first Icelandic glacier lost to climate change. The community commemorated the event with a plaque in recognition of the irreversible change and the grave impacts it represents. Globally, glacier melt rates have nearly doubled in the last 5 years, with an average loss of 832 millimeters water equivalent in 2015, increasing to 1,243 millimeters water equivalent. The high rate of loss decreases glacial stores of fresh water and changes the structure of the surrounding ecosystems. In the last 10 years, warming in the Arctic has outpaced projections so rapidly that scientists are now suggesting that the poles are warming 4 times faster than the rest of the globe. This has led to glacial melt and permafrost thaw levels that weren't forecast to happen until 2050 or later. Ooh, I have something really on that subject, I have something very interesting. Anyways, in Siberia and northern Canada, this abrupt thaw has created sunken landforms known as thermokarst, where the oldest and deepest permafrost is exposed to the warm air for the first time in hundreds or even thousands of years. As the global climate continues to warm, many questions remain about the periglacial environment. Among them, as water infiltration increases, will permafrost thaw more rapidly? And if so, what long frozen organisms might wake up? Some microbes have unpredictable behavior after release. New evidence of genes moving between thawing ecosystems indicates a restructuring at multiple levels. In the Arctic Ocean, planktonic chloroflexibacteria recently acquired genes used for degrading carbon from land-based actinobacteria species. As melt-swollen Arctic rivers carried sediments from thawing permafrost to the sea, the genes for processing permafrost carbon were also transported. Permafrost thaw in Siberia led to 2018 anthrax outbreak and the death of 200,000 reindeer and a child, but the hardy spores of Bacillus anthracus, may represent an exception to the brutal freeze-thaw cycle that degrades more delicate bacterial and viral pathogens. Their adaptable characteristics have allowed them to remain frozen and viable over centuries of inactivity. The microbiomes of the Arctic contain resilient and tenacious cold-adapted microbes. Some species survive as psychrophiles, a type of specialist species highly adapted to prolonged exposure to sub-freezing conditions. These species may be lost with warming. Others survive by being highly adaptable, inhabiting many varied niches. Understanding more about these generalists' ecology and genomic diversity offers a window into the microbiome of the new Arctic. These generalist microbes that adapt to diverse conditions are the likely winners as we lose the cryosphere. And then there are microbes that are entirely unfamiliar to scientists, which may represent a novel threat. Maybe like the novel coronavirus. It is clear that the warmer we make the Arctic, the weirder it will get as temperatures at the surface become more extreme and thawing deepens. With the coalesce of microbes reawakening from the deep and surface conditions unprecedented in human history, it is challenging to assess risks accurately without improved Arctic microbial datasets. We should pay attention to both known unknowns, such as antibiotic-resistant bacteria, and unknown unknowns, including the potential risk for the resurrection of ancient and poorly described viral genomes from the Arctic ice by synthetic biologists. Be afraid. Be very afraid. If you think that this pandemic, well, I mean, not to get into a tangent or an alleyway. Whatever you think about the pandemic, if you think this is the last of some global pandemic disease threats that would affect the human race, I would say we're just at the beginning of that. What's up, Muzza? How you doing? Welcome. Patrick's Time says election is not over. It ain't over till the fat lady sings, or something like that. Human love solidarity. Okay. Oh, I don't see any trolls really. Not in that way. It's fine if whatever. If you think there was election tomfoolery going on, that's fine. I'm totally open to it. Who is concerned about a virus that has a 99.96 survival rate? Well, I think we're looking at the number of deaths that have been happening worldwide. Quite a few. It's actually quite, a lot more than flu. But I hear you. I hear you, Patrick Stein. I hear you. It's all right. I think we should. The virus is very real, and I know people who have lost loved ones to the virus and who have gotten sick with the virus. And it's nothing to shake a stick at. So, whatever you think about where it came from or what is being done in the name of it, whatever you think about that, all good. But at least, take it seriously on face value. Osama, are you stuck? Are you okay? Is your chat stuck, or are you just repeating that? Because I think we already got it. Maybe been cloned. Human love solidarity. Anyways. Yes. Kuro hikes, there are long-term complications associated with COVID-19. Suddenly this has become a discussion about COVID, whatever. We're not going to talk too long about COVID right now. I would like to talk about COVID later, but Raza, yeah, I mean, people are getting sick and people are dying, and it's not a good thing. And you don't want to get it. Well, yeah, global starvation. Well, sure, for lots of reasons. Anyways, let me move on. It's cool. Patrick is saying his piece. It's all, whatever. We have, we're not so rigid that we can't, there's no like super rigidity in the chat room per se. It just depends on how virulent the chat gets. Anyways, let's move on. Let's look at this. Virulent, violent. Anyways, Joe Biden named a DuPont consultant who helped the toxic chemical company fight regulations for the cancer-causing shit show to his EPA transition board. Golly gee willikers. I mean, if, Trump did this all the way through his time in office, and people were, upset, outraged, as they should have been. Especially people concerned about climate change, especially people that were concerned about the environment. Were people were aghast, dismayed, pissed off, as they should have been. Oh, but wait, this guy's name is Joe Biden. This guy's name is not Donald Trump. This guy's name is Joe Biden. I mean, this is a very Trumpian move. He named a DuPont consultant who helped the toxic chemical company fight regulations for their cancer-causing shit show to his EPA transition board. Wow, I hope there's some outrage going on around this. Erin Brockovich is outraged. She says, "Dear Joe Biden, are you kidding me?" And this is good. I'm glad she's calling him out, and I believe that the Sunrise Movement and some other organizations, some other people are calling out Joe Biden. In general, his entire transition team, the people that he has been, that have been floated for filling his cabinet positions, not a one progressive. A lot of cronies, a lot of Wall Street cronies, a lot of Joe Biden insiders, a lot of Obama holdovers. I hope the outrage continues, because if you were outraged at Trump, you should be outraged at this shit too, right? Because this is the same shit. For years, I've been trying to impart a simple concept that Superman is not coming. Dare I say, I had hopes that this new administration would usher in a dawning of a new day. As picks for President-elect Joe Biden's Environmental Protection Agency transition team were announced, I felt concerned and disheartened about a chemical industry insider being on the list. Are you kidding me? Michael McCabe, a former employee of Biden and a former deputy Environmental Protection Agency administrator. This has been going on for a long time, right? Pre-Trump, there was a lot of EPA, a lot of people that were lobbyists that, worked for the EPA, and then they were lobbyists for oil companies or chemical companies, right? This has been going on for a while. This didn't start with Trump. This started a long time ago. So the EPA trying to do good in the world, but however, being compromised by some of the people that fill the ranks at the EPA. They've been up to shady shit pre-Trump, and Trump just took that a step further, and here we go with Joe Biden just saying, it's all good. He cares. Cares about profits. That's what he cares about. He later jumped ship to work as a consultant on a communication strategy for DuPont during a time when the chemical company was looking to fight regulations of their star chemical perfluorooctanoic acid. All right, I'm going to try that again. Perfluorooctanoic acid, or PFOA, also known as C8. The toxic man-made chemical is used in everything from waterproof clothes, stain-resistant textiles, and food packaging to nonstick pans. The compound has been linked to lowered fertility, cancer, and liver damage. The Guardian reported this week that Harvard School of Public Health professor Philippe Grandjean, who studies environmental health, warns that PFAS chemicals, of which PFOA is one, might reduce the efficacy of a COVID-19 vaccine. Okay, and then there's that. Well, I suppose if your immune system is compromised, or if you're not feeling your tippy top, you'd probably be more prone to getting disease, and the cure probably won't be very good for you either. The smells of the dawn of the same old. To quote The Who, meet the new boss, same as the old boss. How many times are we going to hear this repeated in the next 2 or 3 months? It should go without saying that someone who advised DuPont on how to avoid regulations is not someone we want advising this new administration. Logic, common sense. PFOA pollutes the blood of nearly every American and can pass from mother to unborn child in the womb. This toxic product of industry is a stable compound. Not easily broken down in the environment or in the human body, giving it the nickname Forever Chemical. That's a frightening nickname, don't you think? Scientists have found it in living beings across the globe, from animals living in the depths of the sea to birds on remote islands. The Environmental Protection Agency has set no enforceable national drinking water limits for perfluorinated chemicals, including PFOA. There is no enforceable national drinking water limits for these chemicals. And they weren't set prior to Trump. They're not going to be set after Trump. Probably not. Tens of thousands of community drinking water systems across the country have never even tested for these contaminants. McCabe started managing DuPont's communications with the EPA about the toxic chemical in 2003, according to an article in The Intercept. 2003. This is a long time ago. This was the time in which DuPont faced a barrage of litigation after the company dumped 7,100 tons of PFOA-filled waste in West Virginia, which made its way into the drinking water of 100,000 people. Countless members of the community faced debilitating illnesses as a result. This legal battle with the company was turned into the film Dark Waters in 2019. Mind you, DuPont suspected their product was harmful since the 1960s. Experiments they conducted in 1961 showed that PFOS affected the livers of dogs and rabbits. McCabe's work inevitably contributed to staving off costly cleanup and additional regulation headaches for the company. That's what he did for DuPont, saved them some dollars by not making them culpable for cleaning up their damage. And here we get into the big question. Are we, the people, supposed to trust a former DuPont man in a transition team tasked with reviewing the Chemical Safety Board? Is this how the newly elected leadership wants to start what is supposed to be a healing and unifying administration? Are we already falling back into the old and antiquated hide-and-seek, conceal, dodge, and deny leadership, or are you going to come out and be the change and hope needed when it comes to the environment? I'm going to give you the answer right now. The answer is no. We are not supposed to trust not only the DuPont dude, but the Biden dude. We're not supposed to trust the Biden dude. I mean, I know y'all wanted to trust the Biden dude to get rid of Trump. Meet the new Trump, same as the old Trump. Only he's just a kindlier, doddering old man. Now. And so, yes, we can, Irk One. Intergenerational scam artistry. Right, indeed. Indeed. Let me hold on one second. Let me check in on Rockfin. What's going on, guys? I see people on Rockfin. Hey, I'm waving to you. Urban Hermit, Ryan Gorman, Poppy Davis. Hey, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Let us continue, guys, to support the Rockfin. As much as we can. Rockfin does not censor my numbers, my viewership, or anything else. And so it is a bit of a safe haven. So let's support Rockfin where we can, and so that they can support free speech. I mean, this is just going to be a whole bunch of, this administration, Biden administration, is going to be a whole bunch of I told you so's. So, be happy the Trumps are gone. For now, I guess. I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen? There's still a bit of fuckery and weirdness going on around the election that I am not going to get into in this video. But for now, we're going to take this all at face value. That the Biden team is transitioning into the presidency. Oh, guess what else is going to happen with this wonderful Biden administration under President Biden? The U.S. military must lead the way on climate change. Well, all right. So we're going to have some green wars. if we reestablish ourselves in Syria and Afghanistan, is that going to be done, in a green fashion? Are we going to green up the wars or green up the military? Is this what we're going to do? I mean, for the sheltered and the clueless, who read this headline in this article, they probably are like, oh yeah, this is going to be great. He cares about climate change and the military does too. All right. Green boots on the ground. Need to get some freedom going. The election of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris means the return of serious thought and action on the existential threat of climate change. But he just named a DuPont consultant to his EPA. Oh, he's so serious. So serious. He's just, he trusts science. Joe Biden, he listens to the scientists. That's why he appoints a DuPont consultant to his EPA, because he listens to the science. So, the wonderful choices that we are given in which we have somebody who just, pretty blatantly just doesn't give a shit, and somebody else who says that he gives a shit, but then by his actions lets you know that he pretty blatantly doesn't give a shit. Like so many issues in the past, the American military can and should lead the way. Pentagon uses more fossil fuels than any other organization on Earth. And apparently they're going to go green. All right. So, and they're going to do that, lickety split too, right? How long do you think it's going to take to green up the military? How long do you think it's going to take to get the military powered by renewables? Unless they have some kind of like, climate change, magic death ray CO2 sucker machine that they've been working on at DARPA for the last 20 years. They're, waiting to unveil the death ray / CO2 sucker. I really want to see this machine, this wonderful magical machine that they roll out. The Pentagon uses more fossil fuels than any other organization on Earth, consuming 2% of all fossil fuels produced in the United States. It is big enough to be a market changer. Of course it is. The military, literally our entire economy is run on the military. If our military, what didn't exist, how much of our economy would fold? Probably more than the powers that be would like. I mean, that's entirely why we are in all these wars. Without all these wars going on, without all these weapon sales, without all this, the defense contracts, and the jobs that all these weapon sales produce, without all of that, where would our economy be? We'd probably be degrowing right now without the U.S. military. It is an imperative to move aggressively towards sustainable, clean energy for three main reasons. The first is climate change, which is one of the biggest national security challenges our country faces, even though we have no clue how to actually face it. Some people think we have to have a military because if we don't have a military, the commies are going to come get us. We can't even get out of 1952, which is one of the biggest national security challenges our country faces. The second is that it makes our military better warfighter. Really? That's amazing. That is so awesome. They're better fighters if we go green. And the third is that such an action will save serious money at a time when the Pentagon, rightly, will be facing a future of lower funding for a number of reasons. Really? When are they going to face a future of lower funding? What kind of off the wall nonsense is this? They're going to face a future of lower funding? When? Their funding has done nothing but go up and will continue to do nothing but go up. Joe Biden will get into office and he will be like, you know what we need? We're going to need a bigger military budget, guys. I'm telling you right now. And everybody, Democrats and Republicans alike, are going to go, sure, no problem. You know what? That Joe Biden, he's pretty right on the money. We're going to have to go nuclear. You know what I'm saying? Lots of nuclear. That's how we do it. That's how we green up the military. We just bring in the nukes. Just charge up the nukes. Man, that's some good clean energy right there. You feel it? You feel you're getting warm by the clean energy fire? Oh, and biofuels. They're going to use biofuels. Biofuels are increasingly available and are becoming cost competitive with the conventional fuels. So that's how that's how the beginning of their greening up the military. Biofuels and nuclear. That's how we're gonna do it, guys. Got it? Cool. I can't wait. It's gonna be so awesome. I started late. I've gone long. I just want to show you guys one thing though, before I go. An article that I would probably read, some more of. Come on, please, 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 work with me here. Hold on one second. Trying to find a really cool graph. I was trying to or not cool. I don't know. Here we go. This has maybe nothing to do with anything, but just to show you where we're at in the climate change progression. This was from a study like 10 years ago, 9 years ago, 2011. Here was where CO2 was in 2011. It was below 400 parts per million. And so, at this time they thought like, we're going to take action on climate change. We're going to do so much climate change stuff. And Obama's going to get us in the Paris agreements. And look what's going to happen. We're going to stay below, what is this? 450 or we're going to call this about 450. 2100, the lower scenario. If we did everything we could to combat climate change, we would stay below 450 before 2100. Guess where we're at now? We're kind of like right here. We're at 420. We are at 420. 10 years later, less than 10 years later. So there is no way on God's green earth that we are ever going to get close to the lower scenario. Here's the 2100 higher scenario, all the way up to like over 900 parts per million. How long before we get to this 2100 lower scenario? That probably, I'm going to guess 2025 or before 2030 we'll be here, 450. This is supposed to be the best case scenario for 80 years from now, or 90 years from now. This was the best case scenario. Just to show you where we're at, we're not anywhere close to the best case scenario, friends and neighbors. My fellow climate change concerned folks. Yeah. Anyways, I don't know why there was no context for me showing you that. I just thought that was an interesting graph to look at. But that's where we are. That's where we are. And we're talking about greening up the military with nuclear and biofuels. And, yeah. Sounds good. I can't wait. Rich China says AOC says she's going to hold Biden's feet to the fire on the Green New Deal. She has more allies joining. What do you think, Rich Diana? What do you think is the possibility of that? I find that laughable. Francis Madigan, on this day 57 years ago, American democracy died. Are you talking about JFK? I'm assuming that's what you're saying. Yeah, sure. Sure. When the spooks finally took over, when the CIA finally just said, "Yeah, we've had enough of this whole election, stuff." That's, you know, that's funny. Um, yeah. Can't see the right side of the graph. I'm sorry about that. I apologize. Was my face in the way? Well, anyways, I can't go. I'm not going to go back to it, but that's where I'll show you the graph tomorrow. And I apologize if my. Thank you for the super chats, guys. Jay Brandt, thank you for the super chat. And Basil Peterson says, I have rescued a puppy and life is good. Good for you, Basil Peterson. Awesome. I hope you enjoy the puppy and the puppy enjoys y'all. Guys, I have run out of time on this video. Irk1 says, Russia going to get your mama. Rich Monroe, got to miss the B-2 bomber at $2 billion a piece. Certainly. Brent McKinney says Biden does it only because China is beating them on electrification and they need the Midwest jobs to return. Okay. I don't know. I mean, you think Biden is going to help jobs return to the Midwest? I mean, maybe he will. I kind of doubt it. But we'll see. We'll see. Kiro Hikes, yeah. AOC, unfortunately, I feel like has gone to the dark side while still projecting progressiveness. But I hear you, and I actually agree with you. Yeah. All right, guys. I'll be back. I keep saying I'm going to try and come back with another video. It's been very difficult, just a weird moment in time. If I can come back with another video today, I will. But otherwise, I will see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for some climate change chat. And until next time, peace.